The air inside the B-24 Liberator Sandman reeks of hydraulic fluid, cordite, and fear. First Lieutenant John Red Jerstad grips the control yoke, knuckles white beneath oil-streaked gloves. Through the windscreen, the refineries of Ploesti rise like steel tombstones, the most heavily defended target in Hitler's empire. Jerstad's co-pilot, Second Lieutenant Robert Sternfels, calls out altitude. 21,000. 20. Christ Red, they're lighting us up. Black flowers of flak burst around them. The 93rd Bomb Group has been flying for 3 hours. Now, 177 B-24 Liberators converge on a single point, Nazi Germany's jugular vein. Ploesti produces 1/3 of Germany's oil. Destroy it, and you cripple the Wehrmacht for months. But the guns, so many guns. Fighter 2 o'clock high, Staff Sergeant Mike Callan shouts from the top turret. A Messerschmitt Bef 109 screams past, 20mm shells stitching across Sandman's right wing. The bomber shudders but holds. Behind Jerstad, the 50 caliber machine guns roar to life, spent casings cascading like brass rain. Target zone in 8 minutes, Colonel Baker's voice crackles over the radio. All aircraft maintain approach vector, 8 minutes through the most concentrated anti-aircraft fire in Europe. The Romanians have positioned 88mm guns in concentric rings, overlapping kill zones designed by German engineers. Men who've flown it don't talk about it. They just stare into their coffee and shake. Bombardier, report. Target acquired. Second Lieutenant Frank O'Brien lies prone in the nose. Bomb bay doors ready on your command. The B-24 wasn't designed for this. Someone in the Pentagon decided altitude bombing wasn't accurate enough. The only way to guarantee hits is to go in low, treetop level, 200 feet. At that altitude, they become targets for every gun, every rifle. And when the bombs go off, the blast radius will be measured in hundreds of yards. Some planes won't make it out of their own explosions. Formation lead is descending. Through the windscreen, the lead bomber drops its nose. The others follow like a steel avalanche. The 93rd, the 98th, the 44th, all converging on the refinery complexes. Sandman is assigned to White 4, the Creditul Minier refinery. By nightfall, if this works, it will be a crater. Jerstad pushes the yoke forward. The Liberator's nose drops, the horizon sliding up. 15,000 feet, 12,000. The altimeter unwinds. Details emerge below. Roads, rivers, and ahead, the forest of smokestacks marking the refineries. A B-24 from the 44th Group takes a direct hit. The right wing disintegrates in flame. The fuselage cartwheeling, crew members tumbling without parachutes. Jerstad doesn't look away. You never look away. 5,000 feet, 4, 3. The radio erupts. Lead is hit. White 2 is burning. But Jerstad blocks it out. He's watching the refinery now, seeing guard towers, railway cars, workers scattering across catwalks. 2,000 feet, 1,000. The world explodes. An 88mm shell detonates 15 feet off the left wing, the blast wave slamming into them. The cockpit fills with smoke. Alarms scream. Jerstad smells something sweet, glycol. The coolant lines are ruptured. Engine 2 is losing pressure. Sternfels reaches for the controls, but the bomber lurches right. Jerstad sees it, a jagged hole through the co-pilot's side panel, and Sternfels slumped forward, blood spreading across his flight suit. Sandman is dropping at 300 feet per second. If he doesn't level out, they all die. Bombardier. Bomb bay doors open. No response. Jerstad hauls back on the yoke, biceps screaming. Sandman levels at 400 feet, high enough to see individual faces below. Romanian soldiers pointing upward, a gun crew traversing their barrel. O'Brien. Bomb status. Static. Navigator, check the Bombardier. Second Lieutenant Thomas Walsh scrambles forward. He's hit, Skipper. Shrapnel through the shoulder. Conscious but bleeding bad.
No bombardier means no precision drop. They can abort, dump the bombs, limp home with one engine crippled and half the crew wounded, or finish the run. Walsh, can you operate the site? A pause. Walsh is a navigator, not a bombardier. I can try, sir. Do it. We're not turning back. The decision is irreversible. In that moment, John Jerstad crosses the line separating the living from the dead. The refinery sprawls beneath them. White 4. 6 critical cracking towers that superheat crude into gasoline, diesel, aviation fuel. Between Sandman and those towers is a curtain of tracer fire, quadruple-mounted 20mm flak guns on every rooftop. A B-24 ahead flies straight into the barrage. The nose section disintegrates, pieces tumbling into the inferno. Jerstad banks right, drops to 250 feet. The smell hits even through the vents, burning petroleum, chemical sweet. Other bombers have already struck. White 2 is a sea of flame, black smoke climbing thousands of feet. Bomb bay doors open. High Walsh's voice cracks. I need 20 more seconds. 20 seconds equals 3,000 feet of flying through hell. Jerstad holds course, hands welded to the yoke. Beside him, Sternfels has stopped moving. Fighters inbound. 3 BAF-10-9s dive from the north. The lead fighter opens fire at 400 yards, shells walking toward Sandman. Ray Hammond's waist guns answer, tracers arcing across sky. The lead Messerschmitt breaks off trailing smoke. 10 seconds. A 20mm shell punches through the tail. The bomber yaws left. Jerstad corrects, feeling systems fail faster than he can compensate. Then, hot pain in his left side, spreading like fire. He looks down. His flight suit is torn, dark and wet. He's been hit, but he can still move, still see, still fly. Bombs away. 6 500-pound bombs drop free. Jerstad pulls back, coaxing Sandman up. 150 feet, 200, 250. The bombs fall for 4.3 seconds, and then the world turns white. The explosions liquefy the cracking towers. Steel beams weighing tons fly hundreds of feet. Pipelines rupture, spraying crude that ignites into fireballs. The shockwave flips Sandman nearly onto its back. Jerstad fights, left aileron, right rudder, throttle up. The horizon spins, and then impossibly, he's level, flying east at 100 feet. Behind them, White 4 is erased. A single unified inferno, flames reaching 600 feet. By tonight, satellite refineries will shut down. By next week, German panzer divisions will ration fuel. By next month, Luftwaffe sortie rates will drop 18%, but John Jerstad won't live to see it. Skipper, engine 2 is on fire. Extinguishers dead, and we're losing fuel from the port wing. Jerstad nods. Speech is difficult. The pain has spread, cold numbness creeping up his chest. When he breathes, something bubbles. Punctured lung. 30 minutes, maybe less. The radio. All aircraft. Mission complete. Return to base. 700 miles across hostile territory to Libya. 700 miles that might as well be 7,000. Sternfels is dead. O'Brien unconscious. Engine 2 burning. Hydraulics gone. Fuel leaking. Pilot bleeding out. Walsh, come up here. Take the co-pilot seat. Sir, I'm not pilot rated. Doesn't matter. I'll talk you through it. We're getting home. Walsh slides into Sternfels' seat. Jerstad begins. Yoke controls pitch and bank. Rudder pedals control yaw. Throttles between the seats. We're on 1, 3, and 4 now. Should we bail out? Look down. Romanian countryside stretches below. Farms crawling with German military traffic. A crippled B-24 wouldn't make it. We fly or we die. Those are the options. They cross the Danube at sunset. Jerstad's left hand locks on the yoke, his right pressed against the wound. The pressure isn't stopping the bleeding. It's just something to focus on besides the grey creeping into his vision. Doc Morrison kneels beside him with the last morphine syringe. Skipper, you need this. No. Need to stay conscious. Walsh can't fly alone. How long to the coast? Justad whispers. Walsh checks his chart. 90 minutes, maybe more with this headwind. The sun touches the horizon. In 90 minutes, it'll be dark. Landing a crippled bomber at night with no hydraulics and a dying pilot is impossible. But statistics are for offices. In the air, there is only now. Fighters 7 o'clock, 3 Romanian IAR-80s dive, cannon firing. They make one pass, close but no hits, then circle at distance, shadowing like wolves. They're waiting, Morrison says, for us to crash, for the pilot to die. Justad would laugh if he could. Professional courtesy, let the bomber kill itself. But not yet. Walsh, listen, his voice barely a whisper. When we reach the coast, there's a German fuel depot at Constanza, storage facility on our flight path. Intelligence photos showed container ships, rail depot, fuel tanks. Walsh stares. You want another run? One more, Walsh. Just one more. The navigator looks at Morrison, at Hammond, at the darkening sky. Sandman has 2 engines and maybe 90 gallons of fuel. Every calculation says, fly south, ditch near Africa, hope for rescue. But Justad isn't asking rationally. He's asking as a dying man who refuses to accept survival as his last act. Walsh keys the intercom. Crew vote, one more attack run at Constanza or straight to Libya. Silence. Then, I'm in. Callan. Let's finish it. Hammond. One more run, Skipper. Morrison. Walsh nods. Okay, one more. The B-24 turns southeast, chasing the last light. Below, terrain shifts from farmland to marshes to the dark gleam of the Black Sea. And there, silhouetted against the water, Constanza. The city glows with industrial light. Refineries, warehouses, the massive harbor that feeds German operations across the Balkans. Oil tankers are moored at docks, holds full of crude destined for Austria and Czechoslovakia. Storage tanks cluster along the waterfront, each containing thousands of gallons of fuel. Justad can barely see now. The grey edges have become fog, his vision tunneling to a narrow cone ahead. His hands are numb. He feels the yoke only as distant pressure. His breathing rattles, but his mind is clear, crystalline, focused on the mathematics of destruction. Walsh, descend to 400 feet. Attack heading 095. Will come from the sea. They won't expect it. We don't have a bombardier. You drop. I'll fly. Justad's voice fades. Morrison, go aft. When we make the run, everyone on the catwalk, bail out immediately after drop. Don't wait. The blast will be big. Morrison doesn't move. Skipper, that's an order, Sergeant. The engineer holds his gaze, then nods. He understands. They all understand. This is one way. The pilot won't survive. Can't survive the next 10 minutes, even turning back now. But he can survive long enough to put this bomber exactly where it needs to be. Sandman drops toward the water, the Black Sea obsidian in twilight. 400 feet. 300. 200. The bomber's shadow merges with its reflection. Ahead, Constanza's lights spread across the shore. Batteries scrambling, searchlights stabbing skyward, sirens wailing. But they're looking up, expecting high-altitude bombers. Not a lone Liberator at wavetop level, 3 engines howling, trailing smoke like a comet. Bomb bay doors open. Walsh's voice is steady now. He's accepted it. Target locked. Justad sees the fuel tanks, 6 massive cylinders in a hexagonal pattern, connected by pipelines, each marked Brennstoff, fuel, the lifeblood of mechanized war. He adjusts course minutely, lining up the final approach. He thinks of his wife Margaret in Portland, his daughter Susan, who turned 3 last month, all the sunrises he won't see, all the ordinary moments that constitute a life. Then he stops thinking. His hands move on the controls, his eyes track the target, his voice calm and clear and utterly at peace. Bombs away. The last 4 500-pound bombs drop free. Sandman lurches upward, suddenly lighter. Justad pulls back with everything remaining. The last molecules of strength, the final firing of dying synapses, pure will separating men from meat. The bomber climbs. 50 feet, 75, 100. The bombs hit simultaneously. 6 fuel tanks containing 8 million gallons of petroleum detonate in a fireball visible from 20 miles. The shockwave flattens warehouses, capsizes tankers, shreds harbor facilities into shrapnel. A mushroom cloud climbs into the evening sky, orange and black and beautiful in its terrible completeness. And in that light, John Jerstad sees his crew tumbling from the catwalk, parachutes blossoming white against the flames. Walsh Morrison, Callan Hammond, even O'Brien strapped to his stretcher, somehow pulling his ripcord. All of them alive. Jerstad smiles. Sandman continues flying east over the Black Sea, piloted by dead hands and the last momentum of burning engines. It flies for 3 more minutes, covering 4 miles, before the remaining fuel ignites and the bomber breaks apart, pieces falling like stars into dark water. The raid on Ploesti would be classified as tactical success but strategic failure. 53 bombers lost, 660 men killed or captured. But White 4 and Constanza remained offline for 2 months, forcing the Wehrmacht to curtail operations during critical Eastern Front campaigns. First Lieutenant John Red Jerstad was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor. The citation reads, "For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity above and beyond the call of duty, refusing to abandon his mission despite fatal wounds, thereby ensuring the destruction of vital enemy resources." His crew survived, all of them. They would speak of him decades later in the quiet way men speak of debts that can never be repaid, in the way survivors speak of heroes who chose in their final moments, not salvation, but service, not escape, but duty. John Jerstad didn't just strike a target that August day. He struck a bargain with mortality itself. His life for theirs, his last breath for their next mission, his final run for their journey home. In the mathematics of war, it was an even trade. In the mathematics of honor, it was priceless.